How often do you think about the times when you were a child and when the whole world just seemed more colorful, full of more mystery, more unknowns, when everything was interesting, every single bug or plant or a pond that you encounter while walking, every single little thing, every little toy you had a little story, had character, was alive in your mind. The entire world was filled with absolutely different things if you think about it. We approached things much more differently as children, which of course makes sense. And it makes sense that as adults we do think differently. If we still thought and behaved exactly like children do, that would be a bit concerning. But what is also concerning is getting detached from that playful, colorful, mysterious world that we once knew as children, getting detached from it completely. Now that is what I see as greatest mistake for a lot of people, and a lot of people that I know that are miserable, worried, they just don't feel stuff much. Of course, there are legit reasons sometimes for it, but more often than not, those are people that have their life covered. They are okay with the bills, they have their own houses and homes, they have their own families, but still there's something empty in their eyes. And when you talk to them, you can just see, you can notice that these little things simply do not present joy for them. They simply are not able, for whichever reason is behind it. I'm not either a psychologist or a medical doctor, I can only assume, but for whatever reason it is behind it, they cannot stop. They cannot be alone. Apparently, I also cannot be alone because some mountain bikers are nearby. But, they cannot enjoy the silence. It's always something happening somewhere. They're overstimulated. And seeing the leaves, or the rabbit passing by, or just having a nice hike and then eating a piece of sandwich does not present much joy for them. So there is definitely at least one deer that just started running, and they all probably are somewhere here, or the one, I don't know how many of them. Oh, look. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Curiosity of a child and how to get it back. Because I learned on my experience that when you get it back and you start enjoying these little things, everything makes much, not necessarily much more sense. It won't answer you who you are, why we are here, and so on. But it will make your life substantially less miserable. It will be more colorful again. It will be more interesting. Oh, look at them. Mushrooms. Look, this one is almost purple. Or is purple, actually. And that one over there, it's purplish. I'm just bad with colors. I have to live with that. So how to achieve this? It's one thing just to talk, abstractly or generally, so you don't get any practical advice or guidelines. Well, I'm not a master of anything, but I can share my perspective from my own experience. Definitely, one of the first things that you can do is to find something. It does not even have to be something in nature. So find one thing. Take this stick, for example, and just no matter how funny or ridiculous this sounds now, take a look at it. Take a look at it, and imagine you're seeing this for the first time. It's sort of like meditation, some sort of it, let's say. So just enjoy the material, the texture, the sound it makes. Think about the material, be curious to learn more. So this is made in Germany. Interesting. Not interesting for most people, but if you're looking at this for 15 minutes and only focus on this, it becomes very interesting. Trust me. Look at these patterns here. The design that they put here. Look at the handle, the different textures, the different material. It's made of carbon, I think. Think about that. It is very stiff and powerful, but so light you can hold it with your pinky finger. We have so many amazing things today. Material things that we can just go to supermarket and buy. And I don't mean fancy cars or anything, just these little things. Our ancestors just a couple of 100 years ago, even 100 years ago, couldn't really have those, at a whim. You just wish for something and you order it on Amazon or somewhere. And we just lost the touch with the things because we don't actually cherish how hard was it to get to them. We don't appreciate it because they are cheap, they are affordable, they come at your doorstep when you make a few clicks on the internet. And I think that is the one reason, definitely, why we stopped cherishing these little things and why we lost curiosity. We are bombarded with so many tiny stuff at once and we can afford all of them. So yeah, without further explanations, that is definitely one of the things. Same things goes for the plants. You see this plant and you say superficially, oh look, it's a dandelion. Oh, so boring, I know everything about dandelions. But you know what? It's not. It just looks like it. It's actually not dandelion. It has different uses. It's different species. How crazy is that? So many things we actually miss because we are superficial. And of course, when you are superficial and not in tune with anything, you don't go into depth about any single thing. Yes, you will be miserable. Let's talk about some other stuff. I actually have something to show you. Second very important point I want to make is you need to break up routine. Right there in front of me, there is a cave that's known for ravens to live in. Maybe they're sleeping now and don't know what's going on. Apparently, firstly, I think rock pigeons were living there, or your regular city pigeons if you wish. Then jays came to evict them, and then ravens came after. I have a special video about that. It's a bit ugly technically because those were one of my first videos. But anyway, breaking the routine, what I wanted to say, what it means, is stuff like this. Explore. Visit new places, revisit the old ones. Break the routine. If you take your entire life, and if you look at, let's say, on Google Maps or anywhere else, what you will notice that it is almost always exactly the same path, exactly the same line. You go to your school or university or work, you go back home. And on the way, you almost always go at the same grocery stores or other stores. You drink coffee in same cafes. You eat in pretty much the same-ish places. And then you get back home. So it's very predictable. It even follows the very predictable timeline. Like you will probably drink coffee after work. You will drink beer Friday night. It's so predictable. Now, if you ever talked with somebody who is over 25 or you are over 25, you will notice that time passes so much faster as you get older. So this specific timeline from when you were a child to, when you were born until you were maybe 10-year-old, that is like little eternity, right? It was like a little eternity. I mean, 1 year seemed to last much more than it is lasting now. And the reason for that, I believe it is even scientifically proven to some point, is because as children, you are constantly making new memories. You are always breaking the routine. You always encounter things, activities, and experiences you didn't encounter before. And then they engrave in your mind differently. They create more memories, and the timeline seems more stretched. So, a practical, on-point advice regarding this point is, let's say, just do something you don't usually do. If, for example, you go to work at 9 a.m. and you need to start commuting around 8, get up an hour earlier and take a walk around your house. Or, take a car and on your way to work, just make a pause somewhere, drink coffee and make a circle in some forest. Listen, it doesn't have to be the things that I'm doing. Hiking in nature does not need to be everybody's jam, but some other things. It goes for other things as well. You can go drink coffee with friends. You can reach out to friends you lost contact with. You can meet new ones. You can apply for some workshops, for some volunteering. I know this sounds like it's been said a lot. It's been said 1,000 times before, but really do it. Really stick to it. If you want to notice the difference, you will. And trust me, time will seem much more stretched, especially the weekends, if you plan them well, which means in your mind, weekends won't be anymore like something that passes like this. It will be a bit longer and something where you truly fill your batteries and feel that you actually rested. Third point that I want to make is explore. If you remember, or even if you don't remember, but somebody in your family has a child or you work with children or something, when you are around, 3, 4, 4-year-old, you always ask questions. You start asking questions. The first round of questions is usually what? You're with your caretaker or parent and you ask, what? What is that? What is this? And then when you get an explanation, you ask what again. But more importantly than what, there is also why. You start asking why. And I don't know if you ever tried this, but as an adult, if you ask why several times, starting with something obvious like the sky here is blue. Why? You always get to the point why you exist or why anything exists to that matter. And that's where usually you stop or you already have some formed opinion or answer. I also have my own vision of it, but I'm not going to share it. That's basically my opinion. And opinions are like certain body parts. Everybody has them. And the last point that I want to make is be playful. So explore and ask questions and be playful. It doesn't mean take toys like children do and start talking to yourself. No. It means take a break, take puzzles, take some board games, take video games, or not only those obvious stuff that are called games, but also less obvious one. You can incorporate playfulness in everything you do, even your work, even your commute to work, even washing the dishes, everything. So I will leave you to it, to think about it, about the ways that you could do it. I won't be here explaining every single thing that you can do, because I don't want to tell you exactly what to do and the ways how I do it, but just to get you thinking of the ways that you can approach things that will suit you. Now, speaking of stuff, just one thing that I also briefly like to mention is this book. So I read it already, but I'll read it a few more times. And this is where all of the things are incorporated in one concrete example, again, that works for me, it does not have to work for you. So this is a book of stories and legends from this particular area that I live in. It is written by a famous writer that exactly what he did is he actually went to villages and he talked to old people. For majority of time they were old people, to gather stories from their generations and the generation prior about the legends and stuff that surrounds this place. And one of the legends even concerns the bottom of this sinkhole. I won't be describing what kind of ritual it is, because to be entirely honest, it is a bit disturbing. I will just say that there is a ritual that can make you apparently invisible if you are at the bottom of the sinkhole and you do everything correctly. But if you mess up, apparently some kind of evil forces will surround you and throw flames or some things in you until you get out of the sinkhole and leave this entire place. I will have a separate video about legends and stuff here. I will explore a lot of them. For some of them I only have hints in the place names, surnames, so I can guess which kind of village they talk about and stuff. Some things can be only guesses, but for now just wanted to show you that one example. That's kind of breaking the routine. It's kind of visiting the old place by learning the new stuff. It's on the playfulness side as well, legends, stories like fairy tales and stuff. It really, itches this childlike curiosity we all have as humans deep inside of us. And with these thoughts, I would like to leave you for today. And maybe I'll revisit this topic somehow differently soon. Cheers!